Welcome to the Business Growth Spotlight, where we shine the light and talk with business leaders from all over the world who are here sharing their expertise and wisdom so we can all grow together. I'm your host, Heidi Schalk, co-founder of HLH Growth Solutions, where we help businesses scale through outside-the-box visibility and automation strategies. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. You're in for a treat today. We literally had to force ourselves to hit record because we've been having so much fun talking behind the scenes. So I know that this is going to be an amazing, enjoyable conversation for those of you who are joining us and listening to us. So if you're here, thank you. We're excited to have to jump in and dive in. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Jay Shorr and Cristian Devoz with Shorr Solutions. Welcome, gentlemen, to the podcast.
Wow, thank you very much, Cristian. I'll allow you to give your warm greetings to Heidi, and thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Heidi. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
It's such a pleasure to have you both joining me. I'm always excited. It's not often that I get to speak with two people from the same company inside and business partners on this show. So I'm really grateful and excited that you're sharing your time with me. So thank you so much. So gentlemen, Jay and Cristian, can you share a little bit about yourselves, about Shorr Solutions and your role within the company?
Okay, well, let me start. And once again, my name is Jay Shorr. And I am the founder and chief choreographer, as I like to call it. All right. And I have my team who helps us create memories, but I am the founder of an international practice management consulting company. And I hate to say consulting, but that's what we do. We are basically remote C-suite executives focusing on operational, administrative, and financial guidance of medical practices from, I call it, cradle to grave. And what that means is from the time that you graduate medical school, your residencies, your internships, your residencies, your fellowships, or whether you've been working in institutional or academia, or you just want to come out and open a business, we help you do that right from soup to nuts, starting from scratch so that you don't make the mistakes that every physician, he or she, are going to make if they don't have guidance. And the first thing starts with a business plan to share operational, administrative, financial, marketing for 3 years out. All right. So our company, basically, I'm an international lecturer, and our company, Shorr Solutions, has won the Best Practice Management Company of the Year 5 of the last 7 years from an international organization, from Informa Markets, from the Aesthetic Guide. So it's not an award that you can buy. And I was blessed with the Lifetime Achievement Award for Education and Philanthropy in 2021. I just retired from Florida Atlantic University as adjunct faculty, teaching in the curriculum of executive education for medical business management. And I'm currently on the board of directors of Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital and Memorial Hospital System Foundation. So that's a little bit about me.
Thank you for sharing, and congratulations on your awards.
But just a little bit, Jay. You forgot the most important title there, which is you're a mentor as well. You're my personal mentor and my business partner as well. And for everybody listening, my name is Cristian Devoz, and I am one of the partners at Shorr Solutions. I have been with the company now for 4 years, started as an intern, and we'll be sharing that story because it's quite interesting how it came to be. I'm originally from Colombia, so I'm the international team member in our team. And I help clients when it comes to financials, business plans, HR, marketing, and also sales training and phone etiquette skills, because that's where I thrive the most from my background and experience working at different call centers as a medical interpreter and then as a supervisor for a team of over 20 interpreters. So it was quite the experience, and it's been great to be in this industry and to share some of the things that I have learned under Jay's mentorship. And yeah, I'm just excited to be here.
Thank you both for sharing about yourselves and the company, and I'm excited to have you here as well. So Jay, you've built a highly respected brand around your expertise, but you're also internationally creating a succession plan and elevating your partners into more visible leadership roles. What prompted that decision, and what have you learned through the process?
We don't have enough time on this podcast. So let me try to give the Cracker Jack, or what I call Cliff Notes edition, to this. He had been a partner and the administrator of one of the largest dermatology plastic surgery med spa surgery centers here in South Florida. And 2011, the medical director had been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and lost her battle in June of 2012. The reason I bring this story is the medical director was my wife. And at that point in time, I had opened up a practice management company for those who had heard me speak and just wanted me to come out and look at their practice and look at their practice. And I did this a couple years before my late wife became ill. And I found that people were hearing me speak at these different conferences, and I was so impressed that and flattered that they wanted me to come help them, but I already have a full-time job in this medical practice. So I said, why don't we open an education division? And when my late wife is going to retire, because she was a little bit older than I, when she retired, we go on the road and we do what we want when we wanted to do it. But the premature demise didn't help our cause. And when she passed, I wanted to keep this, business, and I grew it. And at that time, my daughter joined us, and she's no longer with the company any longer, but she was my business partner for many, many years. And just, a few years back, she decided to pursue another interest. Now, at that point, as I'm getting older, my team help physicians and practices with their succession plan and exit strategy all the time. And here I am not having one. So what am I going to do? So I decided to create my own ESOP, like an employee stock option purchase. The only difference is that the employee's stock, the employees don't have to purchase. I'm going to gift it to them in lieu of some compensation, so that there is value, because if they just taken the cash, they wouldn't get a piece of the partnership. But if they don't take the cash or take a little cash, they'll get a greater part of the partnership. And they know, as I'm 72 years old, I only can do this for 20 more years. I mean, what are they going to do? All right. So as I start to scale back and improve my golf game, which hasn't worked very well, by the way, that I would have a succession plan, and I would have someone and people who could take over my legacy, and I could change the lives of 5 or 6 families. And that's what we're doing now. We have 5 families that work, on our team. And, my wife is a partner with me, Cristian, and Ana Suarez is also a partner. I have 2 other team members that, if they want, next year will be offered partnership. And these are gifted. We gift these, I call it sweat equity. And, for those of you listening out there, don't always get caught up in the finances over it. First of all, whatever it is that you sell is going to be a capital gain or a gain. You're going to have to pay taxes if you sell shares that you own to somebody, like they're going to buy in. All right. That is income. Whereas if I gift it to the team, it's a legacy, and I'll still be involved. But then what does it also do? Retention, because the shares have to vest over time. So just because Cristian may own a specific percentage doesn't mean next month he can go out and sell them, because they're not vested, but they will fully vest after a period of time. And by that time, I felt it won't matter to me anymore, because somebody that's going to stay those 5 years, plus the years they were already here, right, before they achieved them, then it's theirs. And good luck, and God bless you, and I'm here when you need me. And that is what drove me to do that. If I sold it, I have to pay tax on all of it. So why not help people that I can change their lives?
And it's interesting, Jay, that you mentioned changing our lives, because I remember the one thing that you made me promise when you became my mentor was, Cristian, I will make you a very rich man. I will change your life, but I want you to make me a promise. And that is that one day you'll do the same for someone else. And if I go back a little bit, from that moment, when I actually met you, I was working this weekend gig, right? I was scanning badges at this conference, and it was a aesthetic conference. So a lot of doctors, a lot of people in the industry, and Jay was one of the speakers. I had no idea that he was a speaker. I actually saw him struggling to speak Spanish to some ladies at a booth because he was trying to reach the CEO of that company. So I helped him translate because I figure I'm here, may as well give him a hand. And he thanked me. 2 hours later, he comes. 2 hours later, he comes back, and now he has a suit, and now he has a tie, he has a badge, and I can see he's a speaker. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy's the real deal. I see that he's gonna be talking about business and entrepreneurship and how to start, grow, and sell your business. So from A to Z. And I figure, well, I may not get an opportunity like this ever again, but yeah, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna go ahead and ask him, hey, Jay, can I ask you a question? What would you tell yourself if you were talking to your 25-year-old self? Because that's how old I was at the time. And he told me, well, if I could give any advice to myself, would be get a mentor. That's number one. And then if you want to have a business, any type of business, work for somebody else who's already doing what you want to do. Learn the business from the inside out so that you understand how it works. It's like a pizza place, right? You don't start a pizza place if you don't have any idea how to make pizzas. You start, maybe working as a delivery guy, and then you start, doing a little bit of cash and helping with receiving the customer orders, and then you start doing the pizzas, and then basically you learn the business from the ground all the way to the top. And that's how you then go out and start your own. And I figure, well, that's pretty good advice. I need to find a mentor first, somebody who's doing what I want to do. And the next day I meet his wife, and she gives me his card, and she says to me, he's going to be your mentor. So you just give him a call. 2 days later, I call him, and we start mentoring, and he starts teaching me about how to become a dad because my wife was pregnant at the time. So nothing to do with business at the beginning, but he gave me really good advice on how to be a good parent. And then after a while, he noticed maybe this guy has some, skills. He saw something in me that maybe he saw himself in me, and he figured, you know what? Do you want to be an intern at my company? And that's how we started. And I started as a marketing intern. Then I started doing more on the client side of things. So I started helping with business plans. I became part-time, then full-time. Before I knew it, I was working with the clients, and then I became a partner. So it was quite a journey. But it was exactly like he said. I started from the very bottom, learning every single aspect of the business before I could become a partner. And that was it kind of goes in hand with what you were saying earlier, Jay, about your exit strategy was my entry strategy. And now, we're together on this ship.
Yeah, the journey we ride together, and I'll hand off, right, the captain's seat, to all parties that will remain partners. And then after a certain time, I don't know that I would take on additional partners. I would just leave it to be with the 4 or the 5, all right, until such time, because I've never really wanted to scale the business to be so big. I come from corporate America, $6 billion corporate America. I never wanted my company and my business to be like that. I really wanted to be, we have a term for each one of the 6 members of our team, and that's La Familia.
La Familia.
Right? And that's who we are. There isn't one person that won't help or jump in, from me to the least senior person, to help another teammate, to help a client. Because it's not for us. It's the work we do is for the client who pays us, and they pay us handsomely.
I love everything you shared. Thank you. Jay, my mom will always say when we have dinner, a la familia. That's how we usually kick it off.
A la familia.
La familia. And I love how you started off, and thank you for sharing your story, Cristian. My daughter wants to be a veterinarian, which I wanted to be when I went into college. My path changed. And so she's interning at a veterinarian's clinic, and she needed to contact a lot of them because she was 16 at the time, and they won't really take you unless you're 18. So persistence, perseverance, really going after what you want, and also taking that opportunity to intern to see if it's really where you want to be.
Right.
That's important too. And that's what I shared with her. I'm like, this is a good place for you to be interning wise, because then you get to see if you really like it. It sounds good in theory, but will you be able to really enjoy it? Because right now, the way the world is going, which we'll get into with AI and all of the things, our young people, I always advocate for find something you really enjoy doing, and you'll be successful in whatever that looks like for you, because you'll be passionate about it and that will radiate from you. And I can tell, Cristian, you're passionate about what you do. You love what you do. And for you being as young as you are, it's really impressive to see. And
Thank you.
so thank you for sharing that with us.
You know,
Absolutely.
Christian's story is a story that you hear about from if you're on the outside saying, how come I can't get that opportunity? And they only come once in a while. And you have to be in the right place at the right time. I've heard that all my life from when I was a child, as a kid and everything. And you know what? It's so true.
And you know what, Jay? It's interesting you say that because I've always had this mentality, right? That opportunities are everywhere, but we have to have the right mindset. You said the right time and the right place, but you also have to have the right mindset. Because I can tell you, I have a lot of friends who did that same weekend job with me. And we all went together on the same bus and we all go back home together. It was like a group of us. But none of them got that opportunity because maybe they were just focused on doing their gig. I was thinking, who am I gonna meet? And I was keeping my eyes open, maybe I can meet somebody. Maybe I can meet somebody that might change my life. And it was 3 days. A little bit more details here. It was 3 days. The first day I was so tired because I had to stand up the whole day, right? It was standing up. So my feet were done. And I told my wife, I don't know that I want to go tomorrow again. And I have my regular job. I was a supervisor. I was making okay money here. But then she said, well, you did say you wanted to meet somebody. And if you didn't meet that person yesterday, maybe you will meet them, if you didn't meet that person today, maybe you'll meet them tomorrow. So you should go. And this time around, just focus on finding somebody that you can talk to. And that's when I met Jay. So just to give that little perspective there on the mindset, because opportunities are out there, but we have to keep that open mindset and be ready to take it.
Interesting that to a follow-up to that comment, everywhere I go, even on a personal level, when I go to the hockey games or when I go to play golf, anywhere I go, out to dinner or at a meeting, I go with the intent on meeting somebody. Last evening, I went to a county medical society meeting that just happened to be sponsored by a bank, and they were speaking about entry to exit in the medical field because it was a county medical association. I went there not to learn. Did I learn anything? Anytime that I hear something from other professionals that I already do, yes, I learned something. It confirmed that maybe I'm doing something right, all right, or there's another way to do it. But I went to make contacts. Another banker that we can use. Is there another consultant out there that can assist us for things we don't do? Are there people in the audience that are listening that are looking to get out of the business, and they'll hear me and they'll come up to me? All three worked. Sometimes none of it works, but you're exercising opportunities, and that's really what it is in life.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Cristian and Jay. And another thing is saying yes, because you could have said no to that next day, that second day. You said yes, even though you were tired, even though you're exhausted, even though you have another job that you are making good money with, you still said yes. And they say there's this phrase, your network is your net worth. And
Right.
meeting those people, making those connections are extremely valuable. And with the power of, with AI on the scene and all of it that's been developing, the one thing I know, speaking with you all and also with both of you and also all the people we've had on this podcast, the CEOs and founders, one thing I hear consistently, it's not going to replace relationships. It can't replace relationships. It cannot. And so relationships matter. So you've worked with hundreds of medical practices over the years. When a practice owner first comes to you, what are the most common mistakes or blind spots that are limiting growth?
I think what I hear most in any and every business is HR. I hear people say, no, lack of sales, lack of revenue. That's all great. Here's what I preach. When you're opening up a business, we learned this in second or third grade. What is the definition of a noun? Businesses run on people, places, and things. All right. You need people to help run your business. You need people to come in and buy from you. You need a place to sell, and you need a thing to market or sell. People, places, and things. I've been hearing that for 70 years, I guess. They come to us because their sales growth either isn't exponential and they had planned for it, and maybe it's not that there's sales. Maybe you're in a market that it's so penetrated that there's so much market share in there. And in our business world, med spas and plastic surgery practices, now with nurse practitioners having autonomy and then physician assistants or physician associates, all right, coming into the business, there are more providers than ever before. So the competition gets fierce. Take Park Avenue in New York, take, Brickell in Miami, take Beverly Hills, California in the Triangle. You'll have hundreds of the same identical businesses within a square mile, literally. All right. So it's people, sales, they come in, they really don't know. Now, what is it? And I'll skip everything else. Now it comes to AI. HR, what do you think about AI? My receptionists, more and more of my clients are doing it. I don't like AI unless it's perfected. Why? Because it's too AI. I want to speak to a human, all right? If I could get a human that could direct me to AI after I've asked the human what I want, and it's pretty standard, I'm fine. But it's not perfected enough. All right. And many of these are now, you have to teach it. And you teach it right off of from your website and your practice so it can answer all of the things. It's still not perfected. Cristian, let me yield to you to answer that question.
Other than HR, Jay, which I think is the biggest one, 100% HR, I would say not having the proper protocols, not having the proper systems in place, the proper policies, the proper procedures. And when you don't structure your business foundation, which is your PPP, your protocols, procedures, and policies, if you don't structure that from the very beginning, it's going to be very difficult to then change bad habits. And maybe a staff that is not properly trained is a staff that is going to make more mistakes. So along with HR is also having the right structure in place so that you can train your people the right way from the very beginning, and then make sure that you follow through with the things that you're teaching them. So continual training. And I'll give you an example, and this applies for any business. Your customer service. Somebody calls your company. How do you answer the phone? Is it the same greeting every time you answer the phone? Is it everybody has a different greeting? Or they answer, hello, how can I help you? Or hello, can you be on hold for a few seconds? Which is the worst kind of answer you can ever give anybody. But yeah, do you have the right greeting? Do you have a continual, consistent type of script that your people follow? So these are little things that if you don't have in place, people are not going to know how to do it well. Your conversions are not going to be great. And what's worse, sometimes these practices don't even track any of these metrics. They don't track their conversions. They don't know, how many leads they're getting. They don't know how many of those leads are converting to an actual consult. In the case of any other type of company, maybe, from the leads that you're getting, which ones are actually buying your product or service, how do they convert? And what can you do to make sure that that conversion ratio continues to grow? And it's just a matter of having the right systems, I would say. So people, definitely. Places, things, Jay mentioned that very well, but having the proper system, the proper mindset, and the proper culture as well. And one little thing I will mention about culture, your employee handbook or your standard operating procedures, they are your culture handbook. So if you want to make your culture consistent, it has to be in writing. What you want your people to think, what's your philosophy, what are your values, and then you have to live by it. You have to show them by your example that you live those values. It's like Jay, we are all different religions, we're all different beliefs, but he has very strong values, that he shares with us and he lives them. What do? We follow his example. And I'll give you a funny example. Recently, out of the blue, Jay decided to start wearing a shirt and a tie in every single meeting. Before then, it used to be a polo shirt. It used to be just a normal shirt without a tie, and I would wear the same kind of dressing code, polo shirt or a shirt without a tie. That was just the normal. And it's been like that since I started. But then out of a sudden, Jay just decides, I'm just gonna wear a tie every day. And he starts coming to meetings with a shirt and a tie, and I'm here with my polo shirt. I'm looking at him like, man, you're outdoing me. Now I have to wear a shirt and a tie as well. So the next time he comes in, once again, shirt and a tie. So I'm like, okay, I have no options. I'm gonna buy a bunch of shirts, bunch of ties, and now every single meeting, I actually started wearing a suit as well. And now he also wears a suit. So we're basically, you know, matching each other in that sense. But it's interesting because I have to follow my leader, my mentor. So that's how I look at it as an employee. We follow the example. We hear what you say, but we do what you do. So just keep that in mind.
Cristian, it's very interesting. It's very interesting about that story, because anytime that we are out in a public atmosphere and speaking and everything, it's always suit and tie. All right. But this was internally. All right. And then, of course, on podcasts as well, we dressed. And I just said, I want to step up our game. And really, in my mind, I want to set Cristian up for additional success of the future. And I don't want his comfort level to be, even though it's remote, that it isn't a professional setting, because people that will call us, and all our meetings are on video, and people call us, and the people that meet us, I want the image that the people have of us to be professional, because that's the first image that they're going to have. And when people feel you're professional, they're going to feel that the quality of your work is professional as well, at least from the get-go. Now, the work you produce will have to speak for itself. All right. But it really is the inception of trying to up the game. One of the things, though, Cristian, I noticed that people don't come to us because they're concerned about their policies, their procedures, their protocols that are clear, concise, and consistent. We uncover that. Then it becomes problematic for them because they don't have it. It's not problematic for us because that's what we do, and we help to create it. Example, OSHA and HIPAA training. If I ask any of these companies, show me your certification and your certificate of training for each and every year. And for those who started last month, where is their training that has to be done 30 days, 10 days, 30 days after they start? And people look at me and they go, I didn't know you had to do that. Where are all of your required trainings? In Florida, if you have a laser, it has to be registered with the Department of Radiation Control in Tallahassee. Salespeople that sell the lasers don't tell the owners that. They want to make the sale. So they're non-compliant by default, unfortunately. They're not wrong. They're not ignorant. They didn't know the law. And that's what we're here to do, to help them.
So one thing that we've been talking about, touching on, is AI. And in our previous conversations with you before this podcast, you had mentioned that some of your recent clients have actually found you through AI search rather than traditional referrals or traditional methods. So how is AI changing visibility and client acquisition for your business today?
I am beyond shocked, because I just thought, to me, if you typed it into AI and AI gave it to you, well, then wasn't that Google? Wasn't that Bing? Wasn't that Yahoo? Wasn't that the browser that you used? All right. And I used to think that too, until I start typing things in browser and I'm getting answers from Copilot and all these other AI sources. And although I love AI, I don't trust it as much, because yes, it takes hours of work away from me, but I still have to spend time. It's not perfect. I still have to spend time to make sure that what it's saying is true, because I'm going to document. When I use AI, I document, somewhere where I got that information. But it's helped us, because the last 3 clients in the last 2 months have said, I found you on AI. And I'm going like, I never heard of that before. I mean, I heard of AI before. I never heard of somebody coming to us through AI before. It was always a browser search or it was hearing us at a conference. So it's changed us, a lot. And it is changing how our clients operate their business too.
Right. It's basically called AI optimization, right? How do you
Mhm.
optimize your website, for example, to make sure that you come up on those AI searches? Because now people that are using with ChatGPT, Claude, name it, right? There are so many different types of AIs. They are asking many of their questions and they're doing their research through AI. So they're gonna try to find a specific type of a service that they're looking for by asking the AI, hey, I'm looking for somebody who does dry cleaning in my area. Can you give me the best recommendations? Or I'm looking for consultants that can help me with my business. Can you give me some recommendations? And then it will search your website. And what you need to focus on right now is making sure you have very good, well, not good, high quality content, making
Mhm.
sure that you're constantly producing content that is very educational, that talks from experience, that talks from that knowledge that you have of your industry, of your business, and not necessarily try to create a bunch of, keywords or things of that nature, even though that's important for SEO, which is search engine optimization. For your AI, you want to make sure that you are putting a lot of content out there. Podcast is a great way of doing that. And that's why many people end up finding us because we are doing podcasts every 2 weeks. Not as many as you do, Heidi, because you
Not
guys,
enough after hearing how
yeah,
many Heidi
Heidi
has.
does like 1 million per week. I don't know. It's so many. It's crazy, but I love it. I love it 100%. So the more content you put out there that is high quality, that's going to help you come up on those searches. Now, in our business, we have seen a lot of people start using AI in so many ways. From something as simple as doing your notes from your meetings, that's already saving you time there. For something as simple as if you're a doctor, your soap notes, that can be done through AI. If you have an AI agent that can actually whether receive calls or do outgoing calls, that's also going to save you a lot of money and time. And it's going to help you sometimes even convert better than with some humans that may not be trained properly.
Mhm.
Obviously, I'm always going to prefer a human who is properly trained on the phone because you can actually sound more, I guess, human, right? Than an AI that may not be fully trained. What many companies are doing, however, is they use AI, they train it, and they use maybe their top performer employees to help them train the AI so that it will model whether it is their voice. Many times they want to pick like a certain type of voice for that, whether that's a female voice, which usually tends to perform better, believe it or not, than a male voice on AI. And you can train it with what to say, what not to say, with your scripts, with your opening, your greetings, your rebuttals of how to overcome objections in which way, because you don't want it to go crazy and say whatever. So you want to make sure you train it with absolutely everything that it needs to know. And then anything else, you can make it so that it will draw from your website. And you can use that AI agent to then receive your calls. And it will sound like a staff member. It will be as human possible as an AI can be nowadays, although that can change in the future. The way that AI is continually improving, we don't know what is going to be out there in a few years. It's going to be probably crazy. I think
Yeah.
Elon Musk said something about, having this crazy type of AI that is going to be more knowledgeable than all humans in the world. It's something crazy like that. So, and that could happen, very soon. So we don't know what's out there in the future, but for now, there are so many ways that you can use AI in your business.
Absolutely. And I'm very impressed with how much you know about AI agents because we have an AI agent that we support businesses using. And you're correct. Women, the female voice is more, it's higher converting than a male voice. And it is getting better. 6 months ago, we wouldn't have put it to market. But now it's pretty amazing. We had a client come who has a client who has a funeral home, and he wanted an empathetic sounding AI agent. And shockingly to me, we were able to create it. I was like, I don't know, this is going to push the test. And I was blown away. And that's hard for me to say. So yeah, they are getting better and better. Are they perfect? Absolutely not. They're not perfect. And they are trainable and it just takes time and testing. But I'm very impressed with all of your knowledge around the AI agents. So kudos.
Thank you. I
Um,
appreciate
What's my next question? My next question for you all is, okay, so you've been in business for a long time, Jay. You've created an incredible business, highly successful. You're now you have your partners, surrounding you. What were some of the biggest challenges you had when you were growing the business? And how did you get in front of the companies that you work with, visibility wise, marketing wise, because AI wasn't always here. Now it's working in your favor, and you've obviously put out a lot of content because it's finding you. So what some of the ways that you use, what were some of the marketing methods you used before on both sides of that coin? What worked for you? And then on the flip side, what didn't work for you? Then, yeah.
Okay. So back in 2010 or 2011, while I was still at the medical practice, I was approached by a physician who was creating a program which was called the Certified Aesthetic Consultant Program for the Aesthetic Show. And he flew into South Florida and he interviewed me and wanted to know my opinions because I had attended the Aesthetic Show conference. And he shared that he'd like to create this educational program within the conference. He just wanted to pick my brain and have my opinion as an attendee. What did I think about certain things? And he came, and I'm not kidding, probably about 6 hours later, I get a call from the owner of the conference asking me if I would consider helping to create the business section of this certification program for this international conference. And I'm going like, well, I already have a full-time job, but I'm honored. Yes, I'll take it. And, there was compensation and honorarium and expenses paid for all this. But what was most important is the FaceTime opportunity it gave me because I helped to create the program, and then I helped to put the people in that I wanted to also speak. And then I was also a lecturer, and then my daughter became a lecturer, and we became the father-daughter duo, the only one in the industry. People may not have known our name, but what they said, that father-daughter team, that's how we were known for probably the first 10 years. But I became known and I started lecturing at 1, 2, 3, was up to 15 in a year at one point, and I was directing from hotel rooms and things like that until finally I said, I don't really want to do this anymore. I want to just lecture at just a few core ones because you asked a question, what didn't work? The same work at a different venue. Why? To Cristian's point, the wrong place at the wrong time because the wrong people were there, or I didn't have the opportunity to lecture on a specific hot topic that the people that attended this lecture were interested in. It's hitting the right people with the right pain points. And that's what I focus on. I don't lecture on, I call them foo-foo, sweet talking, how to answer a telephone. And, I speak about who's stealing from you. How is the government coming in and auditing you and fining you? Where is your non-compliance? What are you doing to prevent accidents in your business? Do you have a will, a trust, and a estate if somebody were to die? Do you have this type of employment practice liability insurance in case a person's going to sue you? Do you have cyber insurance in case you're hacked and you have HIPAA violations? I don't speak on sexy things. So people say, wow, these are the things that keep me up at night because I don't know anything about it. Of course, that's why I created this, because most people don't, because it's not fun. It's not sexy. All right. I come from many years of my career in safety, health, and security. All right. It's not fun. It's loss prevention. How do I save a life? How do I save $1? I've done that my entire life. So my exposure to get out there was easy because I could see 100 to 500 to 1,000 people in a weekend. And after a while, seeing my name and my face everywhere, and then I was writing for a half a dozen magazines and then winning these awards, I became a staple in this industry. Now there are many others, and they're the younger as I start to scale back, the younger people who I was are now up and coming, and they're very good. I don't brag about how great I was. There's a lot of great people coming up through the ranks. All right. But every generation has that step. All right. And at one point I was high on the hog. And then now there's other people who are becoming high on the hog. And that's what I want to do for Cristian. So in a nutshell, what worked? Exposure. Marketing did not work. I got a couple on Instagram, but social media, I'm B2B. It's B2C, a social media type of marketing. If you're a plastic surgery, a med spa, derm practice, being patient-based, see it, and all these people see it, yes, but not B2B. So you have to, be where they are. And then now AI is really helping it. So what didn't work is the same thing in a different venue.
Got it.
Website's great. Go ahead, Cristian.
That's so good. I was just gonna say, kind of summarizing what Jay was saying, it's all about exposure and then education. I think one of the biggest things that we always preach to our clients is that education sells, and that applies business to business, that applies business to customer. And you know what? Business to business, it's still a person that you're trying to reach, right? It is a business, yes, but you're trying to reach a person, and that's the decision maker. So you gotta go where the decision maker is, and that's what Jay was saying. I had to go to all these conferences because that's where the doctors are. That's where the practice owners are. So depending on what industry you're in, what type of business you have, you got to fish where the fish are. And social media can be very effective, even for B2B, depending on the business, but you have to be able to understand how social media works. And if you don't do that, you got to get the right people on your team to be able to help you do that. And social media is all about, nowadays, it's all about trends. You don't have to maybe put on a costume and dance. You don't have to do that necessarily, but definitely finding interesting ways to use certain trends to adjust to your content. So I'll give you an example. There is this video of the planet, and you can see somebody talking over the video saying, planet Earth, and they start talking about just interesting facts about the planet Earth, and then it starts zooming in, and then suddenly you will fall in this specific location, and then you are there in this beautiful house, and then the lady is showing you the house because she's a real estate agent. So there are funny ways that you can turn, interesting videos, or like what we call hooks, right? How do you hook the people on your video and then educate or sell what you're trying to sell? But there are so many of them. But making sure that you understand how it works, you got to have a hook, you got to have some type of education, and then of course you got to have a call to action that will take people to your website or to do a DM, reach out to you, right? So there are so many ways they can call those people to action, but making sure that you always have at least one call to action. And that's how you basically do social media. But in general, it's all about exposure, educating, and then just trying to fish where the fish are.
You see, I try to sell to human emotion because I'm a very difficult person to sell. You basically have to be an order taker with me. I'll make the decision after I'm educated, all right? But you'll take the order. You don't have to sell me. And the problem too often with salespeople today is they don't know when to stop selling once they've gotten the sale, because all you can do at that point is talk yourself out of the sale. I'm ready to buy. And when I throw a hook out there and I reel them in, I stop selling. I'll sell you after you've signed the contract and paid by fee, because now I'm going to earn the money that you're paying me. And maybe just Maisie, there's something else I can sell you that you need. I'm not going to sell you something that you don't need because it's only going to harm my reputation, that I sold a product that wasn't effective. You see, that's the human emotion. I read you and I read the client and I read the vendor all the time. And that tells me whether or not I'm close. If I feel after a while I'm still not close enough, I back off, all right? Either it's the wrong place, it's the wrong person. Here we go again, right?
Back to that, back to
Or
square one, which we talked about.
Or I've got the wrong product, all right? Whereas the next person standing in line, boom, I'll sell them right away. So it's the human emotion, because I buy like that. All right. If I want something and I can afford it, you don't need to sell me. I'm not going to negotiate. Give you an example because we're full of those. The one thing that I love to buy the most, but hate to buy it, is jewelry. I love to buy it. Why? Because it makes my wife very happy. So I love to buy it. Why do I hate to buy it? Because I never know if I'm getting ripped off. All right. I don't know. I'm not a gemologist. I don't know, honest to goodness, I don't know the difference between an amazing cubic zirconium and a real diamond. I watched the guy put that thing up, and then what's the part that I hate the most? Here, let me demonstrate it. You know, when you go to a jeweler and they pull that little adding machine
Yes.
calculator
This is how much it is.
off of the counter. Oh, wait, I forgot. They look at the tag and then they start pecking at the calculator. Well, I tried something different. I said, "Do you have another calculator?" And they say, "Yeah." I said, "Let me have it." And I'm going to type in on this calculator, I'm going to punch in how much I want to pay. And then I turn the calculator over. I said, "Now you give me your best deal. If we're close, you have a deal." So I've already put my number in, which is a reasonable number. Naturally, it's lower because there is room for me to go up, but only to a certain point. And then they put their number in, and if we're close, I buy. Because the value to me is what I purchased, I'm happy paying for if it's real.
Right.
Reputable jewelry, you're going to get a real diamond. I don't like buying in kiosks and things
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
I don't trust
Right.
anybody. All right. So, you got to sell and buy on emotion.
Yeah.
And I don't know if
Well,
AI is perfected to that yet, because when I use AI, I also tell it, don't be so nice to me. Don't say, "Great question, Jay. That's a wonderful question to ask. I'm so glad you asked." No. Be hard on me. And then I watch the difference.
well, I'm glad that you're here because I heard from my business partner when she spoke with you that you were very skeptical of us coming on here. So I
Okay.
just want to say thank you for being open to having the conversation and joining me because this has been such an incredible conversation. I've thoroughly enjoyed having you both on, and it's would have been I wouldn't have known what I didn't know. But it would have been a big loss for us if we hadn't had been able to have you on. So
Can I have a 1-minute dialogue as to why I was skeptical?
sure.
All right.
If you have the time, because we're going over. We're over. Christian, are
I
you
have the
okay?
time.
I'm
The
good.
time.
I'm
Hey,
good.
you
He's
know
my
what?
boss,
Okay.
so I'm
Let-
good.
No, I'm your
He's
partner.
my lead.
Heidi, I have a very interesting expression. This isn't the dialogue I was talking about. I have a very interesting expression that you are never an interruption of somebody's time when you have something interesting to say. And you ask me, do I have the time? I don't have the time when you're boring me. Those conversations are very short, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you're engaged in a dialogue that really fascinates you or you're interested in, I'll be late to my next appointment if it's not an imperative that I have to be on time. If it's a laissez-faire, like with, Christian, I'll meet with you at 4 o'clock, I'll Teams him and say, "Hey, I'll be 15 minutes late." All right. But if it's with a client, I'm never late. That's it. But the reason I was skeptical, and for any of those that might be listening and to hear this, I'm sure you get these types of emails and phishing scams every day. I don't care if it's a text. I don't care if it's a potential spam phone call. Now they're slick in the AI and they mention my name in the text like they know me. All right. And, haven't we met before? Why are you avoiding me? You're in my address book. Why? And we're supposed to meet at the Santa Monica Pier. Where are you? And it's like, okay. The reason is I get so many of these requests and I win these awards and they want to feature me in the Spotlight magazine. And then
Yes.
next thing you know, it's $10,000 to get a copy. All right. It's free if you want to view it online with their watermark, but then you got to buy it. Or they want you to be on a podcast, but there's a catch and I answer all these people back and I never hear back. I say, if there's a catch and it's going to cost me more than 2 cents, all right, not a penny, because I can afford the penny. If it's going to cost me more than 2 cents, I'm not interested, and I never hear back. But when I responded to yours, the other thing I don't respond back to are these emails without an address or a phone number. That makes it look like a business. You know, there's people hustling me for AI. People are hustling me for website evaluations for free, but there's no phone number I can call them. There's no office. We're remote, but we have a website. We have phone numbers on, and you did. And when I responded back, I got a response back. And it was very professional and it was non-intimidating. And I said, then I'd like to continue the dialogue. I was assured that you want nothing from me, quote unquote, yet. I use the word yet because you and your company had never asked for me to spend one dime. Yeah. But in business, there's always a yet. Because if there is something that you have after learning about it, and you're not an interruption of my time, that can benefit my client base, we're in. And why I came to this podcast, to meet people and seek opportunities. We're reeling and fishing it all back into the very beginning of our conversation, Cristian, right?
Yes, and for those of you listening, just keep an open mind and make sure that you apply some of the things that we shared. And I think, Jay, you did really, really, really good, man. It was only an hour. Usually you go over 2 hours, but you didn't talk too much, man. It was
We're keeping him on a strict timeline, Cristian.
Yes.
And Jay, we're both in South Florida. That's exciting.
Yeah.
I don't get to meet too many people from South Florida on these podcasts. So it's really exciting. When she told me, I was like, yes, Floridian.
You're in Palm Beach, right?
I'm in Palm Beach County. Yeah. I'm in Wellington area.
Yeah, I'm in the Broward, Coral Springs area.
Mm-hmm. I was, when I was young, we're getting off topic, so we'll wrap this up, but we can always talk about this another time. But I grew up and spent a little time, like a year in Pembroke Pines. I was born in Miami, then Hollywood, then Pembroke Pines, and then to Boca, and then we've never gone back to Broward. But
I lived in Pembroke Pines across from Silver Lakes. Were you here when 75 was built?
I was born in 72.
No, Interstate 75.
Oh, 75. Well, when was that?
Did
I lose you?
No, I'm here.
Oh, you raised your hand.
You raised your hand, man.
Oh, because you raised your hand. The AI raised your hand.
I 75.
You moved on me on the screen. I'm like, where'd he go?
Yeah, he moved too on mine.
75 down in Orlando. Yes.
Well, but 75 was here right off the Sawgrass, right? So if you go down 75 to Sheridan and Pines, it's 95 is due east, 75 is all the way west. All right. And I lived right off 75 and Pines. Okay.
I don't remember where we lived. I was really young and then we moved, but I don't really know. The Sawgrass always confuses me. But we're getting off topic here, but it's always that area always confuses me. I'm like, where am I going? But yeah, we have to take it to go see the Panthers and things like that. So anyway, it's great to know that you're in South Florida. I got a friend here.
Panthers.
Woo,
oh, where is mine? Somewhere here. Yeah, I actually.
For those of you who are listening, Jay just pulled out his Panthers hat. So yeah, we have.
It's not just the Panthers hat. It's the 24-25 dual Stanley Cup champions. I was actually on their advisory board many, many years ago.
Yeah.
We have had seasons tickets since they came to Florida, and I've had seasons tickets. The one thing that everybody knows, we're done if there's a game night, we're done by 4:30.
Okay.
All right. I live 20 minutes from the arena, but we're in the club and we get dinner and before the game, and I go to every game.
Wow.
Yeah. Last year he took me to the Panthers game for my birthday. So that was fun.
Yes. That's awesome.
His first hockey game was interesting. Put his name up on the screen.
I was not expecting that.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
there's social media clips for you. Did you get that? Did you share that?
Well, I didn't think of it because it was a surprise.
I'm really impressed. Cristian knows all about social media marketing. Exactly what to do. Everything he said was spot on.
Thank you.
The funny thing, Heidi, is my wife and I have basically, we sponsored Cristian to be able to come to the U.S. and we've kind of adopted he and his wife and his baby as our family.
I love this. This has been so good. It's a great
And you know what's so
conversation.
funny is our company is so diverse. We have men, women, Caucasian, of color, Latino, different, all multi-religions, and it's different political values, but the same moral value. And that's what it is. You don't
We
do
never do
anything.
anything illegal, immoral, or unethical.
It's just live your life by it and give back to others, and we're good. That's all I ever ask of people.
And we
And
love each
that's
other, which is what
yeah,
matters
you can
most.
tell. A la familia, la familia.
So I hope you can get some good content.
We got great stuff here, but before we let you go, which don't leave, but can you share with everybody how they can find you, learn more about you, and also, Cristian, please share the podcast. We didn't talk much about that, but I know you have one, so please share it.
Of course.
If anybody would love to get in contact with us, we would love to speak with you. We offer a free consult. You can contact us and go onto our website at www.shorr, S-H-O-R-R, solutions, plural, because we have more than one solution. So that's www.shorrsolutions.com. Our social media handles are at Shorr Solutions, and you can reach me personally at JAYSHORR at shorrsolutions.com.
Absolutely. And our podcast is Shorr Solutions, the podcast. That's literally the name. So
Branding.
creative, right?
Perfect. No, it's perfect. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, for those of you watching us on YouTube, I really hope you had a good time with us because this has been fantastic conversation. I know I've had a good time. Hopefully you have had a great time as well. If you know of anybody that would benefit from learning more about Shorr Solutions and meeting Jay, talking with Jay and or Cristian, please connect with them. Please go to shorrsolutions.com. and go connect. All of their social media handles, all of their information, bio, all the good stuff is in the show notes. Feel free to go there and grab it. But please share this with anybody that you know that could benefit from a conversation with them. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, I say thank you. If you're so inclined to leave a review, we would appreciate that, preferably 5 stars. That will allow the podcast platform to push this conversation and Shorr Solutions and Jay and Cristian out to more people. And if you know of anybody that would benefit from hearing this conversation, please share it. Jay, Cristian, you've made my day. Thank you for an amazing conversation and for, an hour of fun and a little bit over an hour of fun. I really enjoyed it. Is there anything that you'd like to say before I let you go that we didn't talk about or I didn't ask you today? I know we could have gone on for another hour, but
Just be prudent in your business. Never shoot from the hip. Don't start your business without a plan. You wouldn't come to my house for dinner without going on a navigation device to get here. That's a plan. Do yourself the favor, follow your plan, and create it throughout the next 4 quarters. All I can say is thank you, good luck, God bless.
Amen.
Thank you both so much. Thank you all for listening, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the Business Growth Spotlights.